Hello, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Stars, Stripes, and Insights. We are so thrilled and delighted here at the U.S. mission to the UAE to welcome back Rita Jo Lewis, the chair and president of the board of directors of the United States Export-Import Bank. So welcome back, Rita Jo Lewis.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole. It is such an honor to be back here. I believe this is my third time in the UAE, but I've also traveled to the region numerous times in the last 3 years. And I will tell you, to be able to be here for the Abu Dhabi Finance Week and to be able to celebrate with the U.S. UAE Business Council, to celebrate with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that focuses on doing business in the UAE is exciting to be here.
We're so happy to have you. And just for those folks who might be listening who aren't as familiar with EXIM's work and what your goals are in the UAE and the region, could you give a brief overview of what exactly EXIM is doing here? And I know you've had some engagements at Abu Dhabi Finance Week and also the Abu Dhabi Space Debate. So maybe you could inform our listeners a little bit about them.
Well, I always, the thing about U.S EXIM is that we are America's only export credit agency. We are an independent, federally chartered agency by the U.S. Congress. Our mission is to facilitate exports and support U.S. jobs. Very much the same mission that we started back in 1934, that we live and try to exemplify today. We are very excited to be here with our U.S. Ambassador, Martina Strong, who I believe also traveled with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed when he went to see the president, when he visited with the president in the U.S. back in September. And really, it really just being able to be here, I think, continues to have officials like myself work with our counterparts here about this very strong and strategic partnership and relationship that we have.
That is so exciting for us to hear. So I understand that part of your visit here is that you're signing a groundbreaking MOU with the Abu Dhabi Investment Office with His Excellency Badr Al Ulama, the Director General. Could you share a little bit more about this very exciting news?
I'm very excited to be signing that MOU with His Excellency with the AIDO. It gives us an opportunity to focus on our economic collaboration and to strengthen trade ties between the U.S. and the UAE. One of the things that this agreement, I think, exemplifies is our ability to want to be able to work in really across the board with all types of exports, but more importantly, to work around areas around critical minerals, telecommunications, of course, green energy, infrastructure, and of course, in emerging technologies. And so I was glad to be here again in country because when I attended the GITEC conference, it was all focused on AI and emerging technologies. And so to have us as U.S. EXIM to be signing with the AIDO, it's very exciting.
And I know there's going to be U.S. businesses and UAE-based businesses that are listening to this podcast episode. And what would you want them to know about EXIM's financing and programs, and how can they plug into this exciting advancement of the relationship between us?
Actually, one of the very best ways is to work, of course, with our U.S. Embassy or with our ambassador and our Foreign Commercial Services team, because they serve as the principal advocates for U.S. business or foreign buyers who are trying to purchase equipment and services from goods and services from the U.S. EXIM Bank, as a export credit agency, we provide direct loans, working capital guarantees, as well as export credit insurance. And one of the things that I always like to say is a misnomer. It's not just for the large companies. It's for large, medium, and small companies that we provide financing for, especially women entrepreneurs. And I will tell you, in the relationship that we have begun with the ECI here, who is our counterpart, we have also begun to put that focus on women entrepreneurs that same way we have done in the United States.
That's wonderful to hear. Something that's really stood out to me is the prominence of women panelists, women leaders throughout Abu Dhabi Finance Week. And I know that the UAE is in many ways a model, not just for the region, but broader and farther afield. And so could you talk a little bit about things that the United States is interested in doing with the UAE in other markets?
Absolutely. We have, as we have worked diligently here to expand exports and to support our U.S. companies and those foreign buyers, we have really worked throughout the region, having been able to travel regionally to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, in terms of we signed a recent agreement with them. We've been working in Bahrain. We've been working in, so it's very interesting to know that this is a region that is very dynamic. And we want to make sure that our companies have the ability to not only compete, but also to win those global sales.
Wonderful. And could you talk a little bit more about sub-Saharan Africa, which I know has emerged as a theme and perhaps an area of enormous potential?
Well, one of the things that we have come to learn, especially for regional leaders and businesses here in the Middle East, is that they have a very keen interest in investing in and supporting, especially economic development in sub-Saharan Africa. That actually coincides with the mandate that EXIM also has from our U.S. Congress around doing more work around renewables and energy efficiency, energy storage, small businesses, I mentioned, also in the transformational export areas, everything from the AI, the quantum computing, the semiconductors, renewables, water, sanitation, and the like. But also we have a mandate to do more work in sub-Saharan Africa. And so you probably have seen that I was able to join the President Biden's delegation to Angola, where EXIM Bank has just authorized this last year over $2.9 billion. And so being in a region like this and talking with officials here, we also want to look at third markets. We are here to also let them know that we have the types of financing that can assist them also.
That's wonderful. Chair Lewis, I feel like we could talk for an hour or more, but I know time is short, and I wanted to make sure that I asked you this question before we parted for this podcast episode. You have decades of experience in the public sector, private sector, subnational level, federal government, international affairs. What advice would you have for those who are listening who are maybe earlier or entering the mid-level of their careers, things you wish you had known, or tips that you have for really advancing in these critical fields of whether it's national security or economic or business affairs?
Well, the thing that I think is so exciting right now is that, we're all in this space where we're looking at advancing our careers. And so, as you say, is there something I wish I had known then? Is to basically early on take your career global. And it's not just about being foreign service officer. People can have all kinds of ways that they can use their interests and also their experience and expertise, whether they're in the beginning of their careers or later in their careers, working everything especially in the finance area, working with languages, working with issues around education, healthcare. All of those issues are things that everyone is working on these days from a global perspective, not just domestically. But I think what I always like to tell, especially college students, is to learn other languages because they can give them a broader reach on how they may want to advance their careers. And then to, now all of our, whether you're in the mid or the middle of beginning of your career, people are really looking at entrepreneurship these days. And I think it is such an excellent way for people to support, it's not just about supporting themselves, it's about themselves, their family, and then, of course, their communities, because one of the things we do know about small business entrepreneurs is that they really are the driving force of our economy. So it doesn't matter whether you're here or whether you're in country or in the U.S. I see so many people looking at that as a career goal, and it's to be sparked on, I guess.
Thank you so much, EXIM Chair, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us for an episode of Stars, Stripes, and Insights. And thank you so much to all of our listeners for taking the time to tune in, hear about the hot button issues that are going on in the U.S. UAE relationship. We are so grateful to have you as a part of that as well, and look forward to our next episode. So please stay tuned.